Paper Route Empire, you know, we put him down in the streets, man, like you said, young legend. You know what I'm saying? High-class street music. I'm the inventor of this shit.
Young Dolph exemplified the journey of turning nothing into something through his successful independent music career, aided by the support from his hometown. However, despite his deep loyalty and contributions to his community, he tragically faced violence in the very city that helped shape his identity. On November 17, 2021, Young Dolph visited the Makita's cookie shop and made a deposit to rent out the parking lot for his Thanksgiving turkey drive because he intended on giving back to the community. Unfortunately, what Dolph didn't know was that he was followed the entire time on the way to the cookie store. By the time he was inside, 2 gunmen ambushed him and shot him down while Marcus Thornton, who was young Dolph's brother, ran outside the store to chase them down and fire back. Even though there were only 2 shooters in the scene, 5 were connected with the shooting of young Dolph. Justin Johnson and Cornelius Smith were the 2 shooters. Jamarcus Johnson, who is the brother of Justin, pleaded guilty for being an accessory to the murder and helped the shooters evade police. Hernandez Govan was charged for being the alleged mastermind of the devious plan. Finally, Shundell Barnett, who is actually on the run, has yet to be found by police. Before the initial hit, Hernandez told Johnson and Smith that Big Joke had put a $100,000 bounty on young Dolph. Johnson and Smith would both receive $40,000, while Hernandez would only take $20,000. After the hit, Smith was only paid $800 out of what was promised to him.
This is from Justin's folks.
Yeah, they're from Justin's folks.
All right, so now we've been paid about $800.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is there any other payment coming?
Nah, all the payments stopped then.
All the payments.
Then later led to Smith testifying in court and cooperating with law enforcement. It's also devastating that the day of Dolph's murder was also Smith's daughter's birthday. The rapper Yo Gotti has been mentioned many times by people saying that he's responsible for the attacks due to the long ongoing feud that's happened between the 2 Memphis rappers, which dates back all the way to 2014. Around 2012, Yo Gotti started his own music label with Collective Music Group and was seeking for future artists to sign. About a year later, Gucci Mane and Young Dolph did a collaboration project and got the attention from Yo Gotti, which led him reaching out to Young Dolph in 2014 for a record deal. Young Dolph has been a well-known figure in the rap scene for over a decade with his first project on July 2nd, 2010. However, while he honed his craft as an artist, he primarily focused on life in the streets, building a reputation as a genuine hustler whose experiences and resilience are vividly reflected in the authenticity of his lyrics. Despite the interest from record labels, Young Dolph firmly believed in the power of independence. Knowing the immense time and money he had invested in his craft, he was determined to forge his own path without needing anyone to validate his success or suggest that he required assistance to achieve his well-earned fame, giving birth to the Paper Route Empire label.
For you, like I know Gotti's opening the doors for a lot of artists in Memphis, or did you just been navigating your own path?
I've been doing this, man, on my own since day one.
Day one.
You know what I'm saying? Since day one, like everybody, a lot of folks, a lot of people, everybody almost done came to me with different situations like, man, let me help you with this and do that. But me in my position, like I got too much of my own money tied in this and too much of my own time in it. Like I got too much invested in it. You feel what I'm saying? So like, say like Gotti wanted me to do the, like, man, come on, bro, let's do CMG Paper Route. That's cool. I'm knocking for that. If I was him, I would have came to me like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But only thing was going to happen behind it was people like, oh, he popped off because of Gotti. You feel what I'm saying? Which I can't do that because I got too much of my own time and money.
Tensions escalated in 2016 when Young Dolph released his album King of Memphis, a bold declaration that didn't sit well with Yo Gotti, who had long claimed the title for himself. The feud went mainstream when Young Dolph posted a subliminal tweet about Gotti. As fans were waiting for Yo Gotti to respond back to Dolph, he instead let his new artist do the dissing for him. Black Youngsta was the first rapper that Gotti put under his wing and signed him to be a part of the CMG roster. While Yo Gotti remained silent, Black Youngsta escalated the feud by taking to Instagram to call out Young Dolph, even traveling to Dolph's hometown to taunt him and show their weapons while asking for his whereabouts. A few weeks later, Young Dolph retaliated on Instagram, suggesting that Yo Gotti needed others to speak on his behalf and accused Gotti for putting the police onto him.
I just got back to the city. They say you trying to put charges on me and put the police on me. You send your little nigga out to do all your talking.
After this, Dolph hopped in a remix track called Ready and threw shots at both Yo Gotti and Black Youngsta with one of the lines saying, "Never send a lil boy to take care of grown man business." A couple days after that, Black Youngsta responded back with the song Shake Some, and he boldly mentions Dolph's name with the following lyrics: "You ain't from the city, you from Chicago." Later on, in an interview with Black Youngsta, he stated that the beef between him and Dolph was over. In fact, he even mentions never meeting Dolph in the first place.
Is it done yet?
Nah, I'm not beefing with Dolph no more. It's over with.
Have y'all communicated since then?
Nah, I actually never in my life stood in front of him and just talked to him or met him or nothing.
The feud went quiet for months until young Dolph dropped a single play with Yo Dog, a track aimed squarely at Yo Gotti that implied Dolph had been sleeping with Gotti's baby mama. Dolph even went over the top by featuring a Yo Gotti look-alike in the music video. This is when things started to get crazy because while getting ready for a show in North Carolina, it was reported that Dolph was the target of a shooting where 100 shots was fired at his SUV. Dolph was already a couple moves ahead and had his SUV bulletproof, which saved his life from the incident. Not only did it save his life, but it also inspired him to create the album Bulletproof with the infamous hit song 100 Shots. During that same year, Black Youngsta surrendered himself to police along with 2 other men who were arrested for the shooting. Eventually, though, Black Youngsta ended up having his charges get dropped, but this feud would be far from over. After surviving the shooting that took place on April, 5 months after, Dolph found himself getting into an altercation with 3 other men, which led to Dolph getting knocked down to the ground, and a man named Corey McClendon pulled out a gun and shot Dolph numerous times. Young Dolph was able to get the medical attention he needed and fortunately made a full recovery. All fingers were again pointed at Yo Gotti since it was confirmed that Corey was actually a friend of his. The beef between the two was dying down, but it wouldn't be until later we'd find out that Big Jook had placed a bounty on not only young Dolph, but the rest of the PRE members. Hernandez Govan, who was close to Big Jook, took the information and devised a plan. Hernandez knew that he couldn't do the job all by himself. That's when Cornelius Smith and Justin Johnson come into play. Cornelius used to buy drugs from Hernandez, and Justin was an aspiring rapper from the same hometown trying to gain some buzz for his career. Hernandez briefed the two about the bounty hit and proposed them a deal where Hernandez takes $20,000 while both of them each receive $40,000 if they complete the job. The 3 of them waited until Thanksgiving week, knowing that Dolph will be around the neighborhood during his turkey giveaway drive. But the day would arrive sooner than they thought because on November 17th, while driving around the neighborhood, Cornelius and Justin spotted the camouflage Corvette that Dolph was known to drive. After the shooting, law enforcement quickly located the white Mercedes used in the incident, as it had been parked for days at an abandoned house that was previously featured in a deleted music video by rapper Justin Johnson.
Now, infamous white Mercedes, Memphis police say, was the getaway car used in young Dolph's murder at Makita's Cookies, has been viewed by millions. The car was found outside this abandoned home on Bradley Street days after the killing in late November. It's the same home seen here in this music video featuring young Dolph's accused killer, Justin Johnson, also known as Straight Drive.
Cornelius would be the first to be arrested and was provided with an attorney from Yo Gotti, but it wouldn't matter since Cornelius realized that Justin took a portion of his money and only got paid $800 out of the $40,000 that was promised.
Gave her $500 in a letter.
$500 and 11.
And she said they had their fake meds on, so we don't know who it was, but they gave her $300.
$300.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is from Justin's folks.
Yeah, this from Justin's folks.
After being asked about how he felt after murdering young Dolph, he said, "I wasn't feeling nothing at the time. I'm not gonna lie, I was trying to get some money." Just 5 days after the murder, Justin Johnson posted a music video and you can see him wearing a PRE chain. It's still unclear how he got the chain in the first place. He'd later get caught in January in Indiana alongside his accomplice Shondale Barnett. Shondale posted bond and has been on the run since 2022. Furthermore, he's still yet to be found and hasn't been seen since. Jamarcus Johnson, the half-brother of Justin Johnson, was arrested for being an accessory to the crime, where he ultimately accepted a plea deal and confessed to using Justin's phone to facilitate his escape from Memphis while deceiving probation officers in the process. Finally, Hernandez Govan, who is the accused mastermind behind the murder of Dolph, has yet to receive his verdict. He is facing the charges of first-degree murder, conspiracy, and attempted first-degree murder. Hernandez's trial is set to be on March 10th, 2025. The area in Memphis already suffered due to high crime volumes, but things escalated with the murder of Dolph. The police were already expecting violence to arise and warned people to stay in their homes.
We are encouraging everyone to stay in if they don't have to be out.
But some feel her request should be mandated, including several public officials calling for a curfew, fearing acts of retaliation across the city after rapper Young Dolph was killed.
This wouldn't be very effective, though, since a man named Jeremiah Taylor, who was a close friend of young Dolph, was shot and killed. Jeremiah created a memorial for Dolph in front of the cookie store where he was tragically murdered to pay homage of how much of an impact Dolph made towards his community. 2 years after the murder of Dolph, on January 13th, 2024, Big Jook and Yo Gotti were attending a funeral service for their uncle after the funeral on Winchester Road. 2 people would be shot and one victim was able to recover from their wounds while the other victim was pronounced deceased. That person turned out to be Big Jook.
Confirmed with Fox 13 that the person killed is Anthony Mims, also known as Big Jook. Big Jook, again, is the brother of rapper Yo Gotti. Now,
when people hear about the PRE music label, they instantly think of either Young Dolph or Key Glock. But what people should be thinking about is Jeremiah Moore, also known as Daddy-O, who is the man behind the ropes. Young Dolph looked up to Daddy-O and was a role model to him. Daddy-O put Dolph under his wing and showed him how to hustle. The relationship between the two grew throughout the years, which led to the forming of the PRE label. A lot of people say that Dolph created the label, but it's actually Daddy-O who's the the CEO. It even shows that Daddy-O is the registered agent for Paper Route Empire. But what's a bit suspicious is the fact that Daddy-O is also the agent for the main entity, Paper Route Touring LLC. Now, after Dolph was killed, the Paper Route Empire LLC was subject to dissolution. Dissolution means that a business is brought to an end either voluntarily or involuntarily. Then the crazy part is that PRE is under the distribution company Empire, who are in charge of publishing and distributing the music for PRE. Putting into perspective, it seems that Daddy-O felt the entitlement of him being the reason why Dolph is known for who he is today. That being said, after Dolph established the right mindset and was confident on being independent, Daddy-O wanted to sign to a major, hence why he wanted that deal with Empire Distribution. Later on, Daddy-O would come after everything that Dolph had owned, especially the trust fund that Dolph had set for his kids. He is suing Mia J, who is the administrator for young Dolph's real estate. There is around $6 million that neither Daddy-O or Mia J can touch, and Mia must be desperate since she's stealing money from her own kids and fallen husband. These different LLC companies are tied to Daddy-O's name, and they are all going for young Dolph's real estate company that holds all properties that Dolph laid down for his own kids. After the fall of Dolph, Mia recognized a pivotal moment to enhance her own brand visibility. Seizing the opportunity, she crafted a narrative that allowed her to associate herself with the event while maintaining a facade of genuine concern. By positioning herself strategically within the aftermath, Mia aimed to excite public interest and leverage the situation for promotional gain. I mean, when you think about it, not once has Daddy-O said anything about Dolph after his passing, nor even honored his death. The same goes to Mia, who wasn't worried about PRE, but rather about her public image. I also wanted to mention the fact that Mia likes to share on social media her journey after the tragedy, but hasn't said anything online about how Daddy-O is taking money from their kids, and it's all because she's in on the scheme. The entire situation as a whole correlates to the saying, never outshine your master. Daddy-O put Dolph in position when he was just 10 years old and took him in as a mentoree. Young Dolph thought he was the big dog and felt like he didn't need Daddy-O anymore for his ventures. This led to what we all know now, because without the OG, there wouldn't be a young Dolph. What began as a minor disagreement over a signing deal escalated into a fierce rap feud, resulting in tragic deaths and profound emotional distress for many, ultimately leaving a legacy of bloodshed driven by greed, envy, and betrayal with no true victors in sight.
Yeah, royalty, royalty, royalty. Ain't number made men with me. Treat all of my niggas like royalty. My brothers, and all of my bitches, they loyal to me.